Oh, yeah. I definitely get corn right away.
It tastes like you bit into a corn on the cob.
It really does.
How do you do that?
Welcome to The Gathering Greenhouse, a podcast to help us grow together. I'm Steve.
And I'm Andrew.
And it looks like you brought some snacks in today.
I did. So, the youth pastor, I got to be hip and cool and all the new trends. And
yeah, of course.
These snacks are trending on TikTok, the TikToks.
Yeah.
So I brought some snacks. They're called the Pop Daddy Pretzels. Have you ever seen these before?
I have not. Okay. I like your organization here.
Yeah. Well, they sent me a bag of like 30.
Yeah.
And I wanted to share them with people. So I was like, I'll put them in these bags with the original flavor, like the bags, so that way they stay fresh. So.
Right. Because how would you know what, like they all look the same, but their taste different.
Yes.
So you couldn't just throw, if you threw them all in one bag, you'd get a wild flavor combination.
Well, yeah, wait till you see some of these flavors.
Okay.
You'd get something crazy. So these pretzels are crazy seasoned. Like a lot of seasoning, really good. And this first one is Mexican street corn.
Ooh.
And I want you to try this because what's crazy about this is you can actually taste just like corn.
Okay.
I don't know how you get corn flavor. So there you go.
Oh, yeah. I definitely get corn right away.
It tastes like you bit into a corn on the cob.
It really does.
How do you do that?
I have no clue.
In a pretzel.
That's wild.
I'm sure whatever it is healthy.
I mean, yeah. It has to be. I mean, I want to try another one, honestly. That was weird because you get corn right
off the start. And it's like a fresh corn taste, too. It's not like a weird...
Yeah, how's that even possible?
I don't know.
That's crazy.
So
what's the name? This is called...
Pop Daddy Pretzels.
Pop Daddy Pretzels. And you it's famous on TikTok, but where did you actually buy them?
Their website. You can buy a big box of... It's like... I don't know how many of these little bags, and it was like $30 for this huge box of these.
Nice.
So,
all
right, next one we're gonna go
That's
sweet.
Really good.
Sweet here.
Oh,
this
you're
is pretty
mess
good.
With my taste buds.
Oh yeah. Hang on. Let's do this.
You have a visitor on.
Say hi.
Hello.
And I walk away. All right, this one right here is really good.
It is summer break already. So
yeah, we got kids in the
office. Office doubles as a daycare.
This is called Thai honey curry. And do you like curry?
Sometimes.
Okay. It has a
ooh, yeah, I can smell the curry.
Taste.
I can smell
it's not bad.
Yeah. I like it.
Got a good curry flavor. It's got the honey. A little bit of spice.
I'm not a huge curry fan, but it's good for that style. If you are into curry.
I'd say I'm not a huge curry fan either. Sam is. She loves Thai food.
Yeah. It definitely tastes Thai.
Now this
got a little kick. I can feel a little kick.
It gets a little spice at the end. Now this is my personal favorite. Do you like mustard?
I do love mustard.
Okay, so they partnered with French's.
Yeah.
And made French's yellow mustard flavor, and I'm not kidding. First time
classic.
It's so good.
Yeah. Thanks.
Oh yeah. If you like pretzels and mustard, walk away, Judah.
Judah's coming back.
Judah's trying to get on the podcast.
He wants to be famous like his dad.
So what do you think about that?
Really good.
Isn't that so good?
Because I don't do mustard with hard pretzels like this, but soft pretzels, definitely.
Great. But just the flavor, I'm like, they got that French's mustard, kind of like that vinegar. It's pretty vinegary.
It's really good.
All right, and then I brought two sweets. So we'll try two sweets here. The first one is
so far, really good.
I know these are all really good.
Yeah.
This is birthday cake. Wish. Tastes frosting.
Really good.
Got the frosting. And this has been my favorite so far.
I love everything birthday cake, but I don't know if I could really munch on these ones. All the other ones we had, I could munch on them.
Sit down with a bag and eat them.
This is really good, but I'm not sure how well it works, honestly.
After a while. Now these ones is about to change your mind.
Wait, so that one came in its own.
So this is their new
separate
flavor
bag?
Well, no. So I guess on their new flavors, they give you the bigger size when you buy the sample.
Okay.
So they gave me a big one. So this is strawberry shortcake.
Okay.
And this one's my favorite out of all of them.
Wow. Some strawberry shortcake.
Oh yeah. If you like sweet and salty, this right here, is so good.
That one's really good. I wanted to like the birthday cake one better.
Yeah.
Because birthday cake flavor is my favorite, but these they nailed the flavoring on this.
Yes, and I think it's like sweet and salty. Sam makes this strawberry pretzel crunch dessert.
Yeah,
it's got like the pretzel bottom, strawberry whipped cream, and that's what it reminds me of.
Yeah,
and so good.
I think it's very subtle. This one's a little more subtle too.
Yeah.
That one was a little more in your face. So.
Well, yeah, and I think birthday cake is a little sometimes artificial tasting.
Yeah. Right.
There's a lot more up there if you want to try them after this.
Okay, I do. I'm going. My favorite was the street corn.
The street corn was this one right here.
The street corn. This one was my favorite.
Oh, and the reason why I got that
amazing.
one because I was like, that was the most impressive.
Yeah.
To get that flavor into a pretzel.
I could definitely eat a bag of those.
Yes,
for sure.
So good.
Definitely.
So good. We even got more kids. They're
like I said, we double as a daycare
during the summer. It's
during
great.
the summer.
It's great. Don't drop your kids off here. We do charge quite a bit.
It's very expensive.
very expensive.
I mean, we'll drop your kids off because they're not going to get a whole lot of care, but they might be more roaming around.
Exactly. There'll be people here watching, making sure they don't do anything bad. But,
right. Minimal watching.
Yeah. Very minimal watching.
So if you want to pay a lot of money and get minimally watched, we're the place to come to.
We're the place to come to. We have a water fountain here.
Coffee too.
Coffee.
That's only to go.
Pretzels.
Once
we got plenty of snacks.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So great job on Sunday.
Thanks.
I didn't get to watch you live, but I listened to it after the fact.
Yeah.
And
did you plug it in the chat GPT and like condense this down to a minute for me?
Oh, of course. Yeah, duh.
Give me the clip
You think
notes.
I'm going to waste my time listening to the whole? No. I went on YouTube, listened to the whole thing. I like to listen to it on 2x speed because it makes you sound like really cool because that's how I listen to like my favorite books and things on the faster
Does that make
speed.
me sound like Ben Shapiro? Because you know how Ben Shapiro talks real fast. And
I don't even think I can understand him if I put him on 2x speed.
But if you put me on 2x speed, does it
you
seem
sound
like
exactly.
Okay, cool.
Of course.
I sound smart.
Yeah, you sound super smart. But we got some questions we're going to go over, but I had one of my own questions.
Okay.
So when you did the ancestry thing, like was it like an actual, they send you you swab your mouth?
Yeah.
Or is it like COVID where they got to stick it up your nose?
Actually, sorry. I did say swab, but that's completely wrong. It's actually you spit into
Wait
a
a
tube.
second. So you lied to all of us?
I'm sorry.
You spit into something?
You spit into a tube, actually.
What?
There's like this tube
Sounds
and it's
kind of
like
gross.
a line that you got to like fill your spit up.
Okay, so no swab.
Close this capsule, and when you
just got to
close
keep
it,
spitting into it until you get enough saliva.
Yeah, and then once you close this capsule, this like blue liquid drops into it, I guess to preserve it for the shipping back. And so, and it was crazy
Sounds
too.
scientific.
Is it linked me with like my family members that I know and my family members that have Ancestry.com accounts? Like, hey, this is your great-great aunt. And I'm like, that is my great-great aunt. That's crazy. So,
wow. Okay. But
have you ever done it?
No, I am paranoid of it because of all the data from 23andMe that's getting sold. Because you mentioned that on Sunday. So 23andMe is getting sold.
Yeah.
You heard about that, right?
Yes.
And people are all freaking out about their data going to the highest bidder now.
Yeah, and then not. Yeah. How do you do that? I mean, like, I guess when
How do you buy?
I guess
because
when you do
all
it, you
things
sign
are
a
off.
consent that like,
with that company.
You now own my
data. Yeah.
Data.
I don't know. I'm not any kind of expert on it.
You know,
I figured you might know more. Now it's scaring me that you know.
I don't. That's the
no. You said
probably
that on
shows how reckless and irresponsible I am. That I'm just giving my DNA to people.
giving out your DNA to now Google or Amazon or Facebook are going to own
They're going to
it.
make clones of me.
Yes.
What if that's what they do? What if like they're getting like these DNAs and they're going to make clones of people?
Yeah, that's interesting. We're gonna find it. Eventually, we'll find an AI robot with
that
named
looks like
Andrew.
me and is better than me.
Yes. So Well, you answered. I was gonna ask you a question about that, but you answered everything I was wondering about.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
About like. Well, actually, there was one other thing. You said that it like knew if you were like likely to like lose your hair.
Yeah.
How the heck? Like, did it say how it knows that?
No, but like even like I said, your ring finger's longer than your index finger, and like it is. And is that normal? Like, was your ring finger longer than your index finger? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it also told me I'm more likely to get stronger, easier, which also makes sense, you know, just because I'm so strong.
Yes.
No, I don't know, like, because it's weird. I'll have to show you after this. Like, it gives you like all these things, And it's on a scale of like likely and most likely or least likely.
Okay.
Of like different things.
Mm-hmm. Well, when Harper was born, she had a really rough birth. Crazy, won't go there. But anyway, we had to do DNA tests to find out if what happened to her was like linked to DNA, like if it would happen again. So like if we ever, went for a second child, to know if like there was something in the DNA code that was like bad.
Yeah.
Wasn't, but what came back was like whole sections of our DNA was missing.
Interesting.
And they're like, yeah, that's pretty normal for like chunks of your body can still be fine. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it sounded really important. It was just deleted from the DNA.
It's like, the part of your DNA that tells you to breathe in and out's gone, but I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, you'll be okay. I'm sure you'll figure it out.
Just, inhale, exhale.
Yeah, so apparently you could be missing like whole sections of code in your DNA.
Interesting.
And that's somewhat normal.
I guess there's so much in it that
God hit Control-Alt-Delete when he made you, and
you don't need that anymore. Maybe it's the part of the sin.
Whoa, tying it. That's a good transition here, right in here. A good transition into the sermon on Sunday.
Yeah.
We are continuing in Ruth.
This is the last.
Again, that was my next question. I kind of figured I don't watch it closely of what's, the next sermons are up. I figure it seemed like we were wrapping up Ruth in there. Yeah. I don't know if I don't think you mentioned that. I don't remember.
I did.
Did you? Okay.
I think it was at the very end. As we close Ruth. But yeah, I mean, so mine was all on the bigger picture, because I basically had one verse to work on, which was connecting Ruth to King David.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, so David's like, hey, here's one verse, make a whole sermon. Good luck. Goodbye.
Yeah, have fun with that.
I'm not going to be here either.
Yeah, I'm not going to be here, so if you bomb, sorry.
I won't know about it. All right, so yeah, you did a good job. It seemed like at the beginning you were kind of linking her impact with the history of Jesus and, how our impact is in with that. So first question here is, what does it look like to live faithful and obedient life every day when you don't see the results? So Ruth is a good example of that, right?
Yeah. I mean, so that was, like the first part of what I was talking about, that when, as Christians, God has a plan for all of us.
Yeah.
We believe that God has a plan for all of us. And sometimes we're like, man, well, what is God using me for? And sometimes we just have to realize maybe we're not going to see the full impact. We may see some of it. We may see people come to Christ because we shared the gospel, or see our kids grow up to love Christ, but we may not see the full impact of what God's planned for us down in the future. So realizing those everyday little things like Ruth was doing out in the fields, staying with Naomi, all those things that she may have thought was just mundane and didn't mean much, like down the road, had a huge impact.
Yes, definitely. And I mean, that's definitely in the story of, we have a visitor coming through again.
Judah, get out of here. His mom's yelling at him now.
He lost a ball to his game. He did get it, which he recovered.
Good job.
It.
I think that was on purpose, though, if I had to guess.
I wasn't paying attention to that part.
So, yeah, it's, realizing those little everyday things, God's using those everyday things.
Yeah.
You may not realize it. Like you praying with your kids or whatever it may be that you may just think aren't going to leave a huge impact. Yeah. God can take all those things and use it.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of a story of a guy who, like, I'm going to say who it was, but there was a guy who came to me at the church, was kind of sharing, he quit his job. Like, it wasn't a good situation for him, but he kind of said some things when he quit his job that he regretted. Yeah. And he was telling me about it, and I said to him, you know what? I'm like, it's not too late. You can go back and, like, apologize to the guy. Like, he's like, I wish I hadn't done, like, I needed to get out. It was a good thing, but I wish I hadn't said the things that I had said.
Yeah.
And I just, kind of like, well, it's not too late. You go back, and he didn't really say anything back to me about that. But probably like 4 or 5 months later, he came to me and was like, I just want to tell you how impactful that conversation was. And like, it was like kind of like just a normal conversation to me. But for him, it was like challenging and like life-changing.
Yeah.
So you really don't know sometimes what those conversations can lead to. And like, honestly, when I was saying that to him, I felt like that was the right thing to say at the moment,
Yeah.
but I didn't think that there was any chance he was going to actually listen to me.
Yeah.
You know, like,
You're
you
like,
ever have those kind of conversations where you're like, I need to say this to you?
You mean like every Sunday when I'm talking to teens, I'm like, they're not listening to me at all.
Yes. No, exactly. Exactly like that.
Because they're all like doing stuff. Because I actually use that a little bit because like, with teens, you may like, they're not hearing a word, and all of a sudden they come back like, that was awesome. And you're like, I
say, parents and people who don't work in youth ministry have no idea what that's like.
Yeah.
Especially how it like week after week after week of that, of like wondering what kind of impact is this making?
Right.
But like
the longer you've been discouraging at times.
It can be discouraging in the moment.
The encouraging thing is to know is like, we're doing what we're supposed to do.
Yes.
Which is planting seeds, nourishing them, and encouraging them. Now it's up to them and God.
Yes.
But we're here for them.
And you're great at that.
Yeah. So,
well,
thank you.
You're great at that. Okay, next question is, why do you think so many believers struggle to believe their story matters?
So that's a good question because I think, like...
Can I ask one question? Like, so when we say their story, their faith story or just their life story?
Kind of both.
Okay.
So I think, a lot of times when, especially talking with students, there was stuff and talking about their story with God.
Right.
Many of them were like, well, I didn't have a big moment. Yeah. Like I didn't have like this crazy thing happen, or I wasn't super, super lost and verge of death or addiction and come back. And because we hear those stories the most, right? And that's kind of why I shared that story about Billy Graham.
Yeah.
That, we don't hear about the people that led Billy Graham to Christ.
Right.
You don't hear about those things, but those people made a huge impact. Yeah. Their story matters. It led to influencing him. And so I always tell people like, hey, your story matters, because there may be someone in the room that's exactly like you and maybe thinking like, I don't feel like God's using me. And they may hear your story of like, I was in that same spot, but 20 years later, I saw how God was using me working as a nurse.
Yeah.
I saw these things happen. So, I think sometimes we focus so much on, I have to have this crazy story of coming to Christ. No, you don't have a crazy story. Your life matters. All you have to do is put the faith into it.
Yeah.
And God can use it.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that, beyond just like how we came to faith, our journey in life and how, when we can overcome sin in our own lives, or we can not overcome, but get through difficult times. Yeah. Those stories can encourage and help other people to get through those difficult times as well.
Yeah. So it's always important for us to share those things of like, even if it was something simple of like, man, I had a hard time lying my whole life, just even about dumb things. And this is what I read in the Bible, or this is how God encouraged me. I got through it. I'm like that. There's probably a person that struggles with lying and doesn't know how to stop lying.
Right.
So
definitely. All right. The last question I have for you here is, how can we live in a way that leaves a legacy of faith for the next generation?
Yeah.
And do you think that, along with that, do you think that this is more for, those people who are maybe in like the fourth quarter of their life, or are we talking like, so when I think of, our conversation, like the 20-somethings that are helping in youth ministry that can be super impactful for the next generation as well?
I think, honestly, all generations, because, when we talk about that everyday faithfulness that Ruth had, that Abraham had, those things, when we realize that all of our actions and what we're doing can lead people closer to Christ and start habits and with our own families, that can make an everlasting thing. So it's realizing as a parent, everything you do with your kids, we always ask ourselves, am I making the right decision? Am I doing the right things to lead these kids to Jesus and stay in Christ, and doing those things? So whether it's spiritual disciplines, prayer, or whatever it may be, but it's basically just realizing those everyday things that you do in life, realizing that when you do them with faith, when you say yes to God, that they can help make that everlasting impact, no matter what it is. But, I think with parents, we think about it the most because we want our kids to love Jesus. Yeah. We want them to follow Jesus. And so our goal is to try to raise them to stay in the church. So, even as a church, though, pray for all the kids. Yeah. Even if you don't have kids, if you're older, pray for those kids. Be there for those kids. create a relationship with them, ask them about their life and different stuff like that. And,
yeah.
But it's also, loving people when it's hard to love certain people, forgiving people when it's hard to forgive, and all of those things.
Mm-hmm. And I think that, for people who may be in like the fourth quarter of their life where like they're either close to retirement or have retired or have more free time on their hands, of being a person that also pours into other people.
Yeah.
Especially when you have wisdom to give, because the more people we have in our lives that we can, and it's not even like sitting them down and saying, I'm going to disciple you, it's being someone who can just be there, because you never know when you're going to be struggling with something and you need someone to go to.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. I tell people that all the time, that just being there for students or being there for kids or being there for the younger parent, like those people in the fourth quarter. Think about when you were that age with young kids and how much you would have loved to have someone just be there for you and be like, hey, I'd love to take you out for coffee and just see how they're doing. That kind of mentorship is much needed.
Definitely.
And if you're the parent, be humble enough to take some of that advice from people, because sometimes it's hard for us to take advice from people, but listen to that generation as well.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, and then follow-up question here. So last week we talked a little bit about like does like how the Old Testament connects to Jesus in this, and like one of the last things that you did was kind of talk about the lineage with Ruth to Jesus, the story within there.
Yeah.
So for you, do you see that direct link between this story and how Jesus is attached to the story of Ruth? And
oh yeah. So I mean, and I think I kind of like we see Jesus in the story of Ruth and Boaz mostly, because Boaz was the redeemer,
right?
And so, but Jesus is the better Boaz. I think David may have said that.
David
did say the better Boaz.
I can't remember if he said those exact words.
If he didn't, David, you probably should have said you're the better Boaz, because
he should have said that.
That Jesus is the better Boaz. So yeah, I mean that's like linking Jesus with Ruth, and that's the thing is you see Jesus throughout the whole Old Testament if you step back and look at it, and it's constantly pointing to him that Jesus is our ultimate redeemer.
Yeah.
For all of us.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for spending some time with us today.
Yes. Go get some pretzels if you want some pretzels. And I'm probably going to go eat some more pretzels right now.
Well, thanks for joining us on the Gathering Greenhouse. Until we see you again, keep it real, keep it rooted, and we'll catch you next time.